Now let's look at our second pillar, which is going to be the phases of the organization. So in this part, we're looking at the movement of how things move and work with and how they move through and in and out of the organization. So for each of the different phases, we would break that down into a different layer. And we'll get into the layers, but effectively the layers are going to be the movement in, at, and away from the organization. And then in each of those different layers, we'll talk about how we can break that down into the different funnels, which then move somebody through that layer. Then each of those funnels can be broken down into a process. And the process is where we are working through each of the actual steps of moving things through the organization. And then we talk about the things that we're moving is where we're actually getting into the different components. So, for example, if we're looking at users will be moving into the organization, they'll be moving at the organization, and then they'll be moving away from the organization. So if we're looking at our users and stakeholders, in a sales motion, this would be a matter of getting leads, qualifying the leads, and then continuing to upsell the leads, and then hoping that we retain them. Or if they're done with our services, then they go ahead and exit the company. Similar with internal stakeholders, we're going through and doing job recruitment, and then we have them working their job, skilling them at their job, and then if they leave, retire, or move on, then them leaving the organization. Each of those has different funnels and different processes in place in order to move that stakeholder or user through the organization. Next, we have devices. So every single device is also going to be moving through the organization, at the organization, or leaving the organization. This can be users bringing their own devices and working through the different funnels. Likewise, this can also be users that were issuing them devices. And then as those devices kind of age and have to get maintained or removed from the organization as well. Then, as we've talked about before, on each of those devices, and our next stage is going to be the software, where we're actually grabbing that data and working with the users and allowing them to interface with the organization. So in this way, we kind of have multiple sides of the software. We have software that is actually facilitating the task and giving users the ability to move something through. Likewise, software itself also ages, and it can be not so much that it's not maintained or not up to quality. It might mean that the organization has outgrown that particular software or needs to add on to a particular software in order to make things happen or to complete given tasks. And then the last thing that we have is our data. And our data is something else that in each of the different phases and each of the different layers, we are going through and we are gathering this data in order to make the processes happen, able to monitor the processes, or even be able to track the processes and understand what we would need to change at other parts of the layers, of the funnels, of the phases, and all of those things.